Hello everyone, my name's David Edgar, I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, and I'm joining you tonight after Rangers absolutely mauled Hibernian by 4-1 at Easter Road. And I do these videos after every game, and a lot of the time you're coming on after a Rangers win, because Rangers domestically will win more games than we don't, should be by a considerable margin. But a lot of the time when I've come on this season, I haven't been able to talk about a great performance. There's been things to complain about or moan about, even if we've got the victory. None of that tonight. Rangers were absolutely sensational. They delivered the two halves performance that we've all been banging on about, and they played some electric football, particularly in the second half, when I thought Rangers were a joy to watch. It might not have seemed that way because, of course, we conceded the first goal, which is a habit that we're in that I hope we get out of pretty soon. But overall, I think that it was the most complete performance this season, and I include the trip to Tynecastle in that. Maybe we should just play all our games midweek in Edinburgh. That might be the secret. But Michael Beale named the same side that had played at the weekend. And I thought that was interesting because, to me, that the striking position, I felt that would be indicative as to where he sees the future going. And I think it might be a sign that he wants to give Čolak a go. He hasn't really had a run under Michael Beale due to injury to see what he can do, because he's going to be one of the guys it's about next season. And that might indicate that Morelos won't be. But Rangers didn't get off to the best start, and I think the reason for that is Hibs paid tribute to their chairman Ron Gordon, who passed away, and there was a lot of emotion in the stadium. And in that opening 10 minutes, Hibs were flying into everything. They were running about like men possessed, may even have gassed themselves out slightly in that period. It's understandable. It was a bit of a kind of emotional release for them, but they did take the lead in that period. A free kick was awarded wrongly, I felt, against Todd Cantwell, but Rangers don't defend it well enough. Cross into the box, Hop, the striker, he peels off and nobody goes with him, which gives him space on the edge of 6-yard box to collect the ball, fizz it across, and it hits off Connor Goldson. That's maybe being a bit kind to Connor Goldson. He tries to clear it, but gets in a ankle, he's wrong side, and he puts it into his own net. And at that stage, Rangers hadn't really played, and it's a tough place at the best of times, especially now that the Hibs crowd were buying up for it. But Rangers' response was immediate, and it was thorough. They immediately launch up the park. A good move sees Fashion Sakala slide in Ryan Kent. He runs into the box. He chops back inside to have a shot, and his back leg is taken from him. Now, the referee, Don Robertson, didn't award it immediately, and I wonder if this is now something that's creeping into Scottish football. The other referees are much maligned, and I'm guilty of it because they're not very good in the main, are kind of just saying, I'll let VAR deal with that and see if it is or not, because it looked a penalty for all the world. Of course, VAR does check it. It is a penalty. The Hibs player gets done by the chop back in and takes his standing leg. You see it in football all the time. Tav steps up, and it was a pressure penalty, because had he missed that, then the ground would have been just going nuts, and Hibs players would have had a refreshed sense of confidence. Instead, he put it away with an excellent penalty high to the goalkeeper, to the goalkeeper's right, and from there, Rangers never looked back. It did deflate Hibs, and as I say, maybe an adrenaline dump as well, I don't know, but Rangers would have been hard to live with regardless. Umpteen chances. Ryan Kent, if he could finish, would have had a hat-trick tonight. Čolak's put one over the bar. Borna's forced a worldie of a save out of David Marshall with a volley. And just when you begin to think we're missing a lot of chances here, we are creating them, but we're missing them, Rangers got the second, and I loved this goal. I loved everything about it, because in midfield, Nicholas Raskin, Heart and Hand Zone, sponsored by us, wins the ball and immediately plays it forward. And there to pick it up is Sakala. He puts it into the front post. And a big bugbear of mine in the modern game is that strikers don't get to the front post. Well, Čolak does, and then he puts the finish away to get us back. A real Tony Čolak goal. Hibs were lucky that it wasn't 4 or 5-1 at half-time. Ryan Jack was magnificent. He was absolutely superb. He was everywhere, ably abetted by Cantwell and Raskin. And suddenly Rangers look to have a midfield that is forward-thinking, that is dynamic. Far too often this season, we've seen a Rangers midfield that is passive, pedestrian and slow. None of that tonight. The only concern for Rangers fans at half-time was, will we show up in the second half? Because, look, we've all seen it. It has happened that this Rangers team doesn't always do it. We didn't need to worry. Right from the off, Rangers were at it and smothered Hibs. Hibs could not get out of their half. They couldn't get out of their box in the second half. Rangers pressing forces a mistake with the balls cleared badly by David Marshall. It's headed back in by Ryan Jack to fashion Sakala. And instinctively, I think a lot of players would have just lashed it in. He doesn't. He controls it, shimmies, sells the defender a dummy, turns and then puts a beautiful shot past David Marshall for 3-1. Fashion, sometimes he looks like a world beater, other times he looks like a panel beater, as the old joke goes, but that was just magnificent. And he was great tonight. I don't want to criticise him. He was terrific tonight. And if he can play like that consistently, then we'll have nothing to worry about. Into the period then of 20 minutes where Rangers were just golden. The ball seemed to be on string between the players. It was just magnificent to watch. And we crowned it off with a superb goal, working the ball right across through Hibs multiple times. Eventually, Sakala tees up Antonio Cholak from 6 yards, and he slides it into the bottom corner. There were 9 Hibs players in the box at that time. They might as well not have been there, because they were a part of the game in the way that the corner flag is. They're essential to the game continuing, but they don't really have an active part to play. Lee Johnson at the end just wanted the final whistle. He was telling the fourth official not to put up as much injury time. Rangers even had time to make a quintuple. I've never seen it before, so that's why I've never used the phrase. Substitute with 5 on and 5 off. And even then, Rangers didn't lose the pressing and the aggressiveness. The game was still played up there. And tonight's performance was exemplified by, in the 91st minute, Tavin Morelos in at the Hibs goal line, hassling one of their players trying to win the ball back. Sensational. Absolutely sensational. Ryan Jack, man of the match for me. A thoroughly wonderful performance. And now the question is, with the cup tie against Wraith at the weekend, do you make a lot of changes? And I say, no, don't, please. These boys are flying. Let's give them the opportunity to go out and do it. Get the game on early, you can make changes, absolutely. But no, I want to see more of this. That's the Rangers we've been hoping to see all season. Tonight they delivered. Thanks for listening. For more coverage, a lot more in-depth analysis, go to patreon.com/heart and hand. I'll speak to you again on Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.